Hello people, welcome back to the channel. Name is Gabriel. This is where we guide traders from foundations to freedom. In this video, we're going to cover liquidity sweep entry model. So how to enter and execute trade properly when you're able to identify a liquidity sweep in the market. So as you can see on my screen, liquidity sweep refers to the intentional movement of price to grab stop losses or trigger pending orders around key liquidity zones, often just before the real move begins, also called a stop hunt. So I'm sure most of us are conversant with this, especially when I mention or when it says stop hunt. Liquidity sweep are of two types. There are liquidity sweep that happen on external liquidity, and there are sweeps that happen on internal liquidity. For this video, we're going to focus on the sweeps that happen on external liquidity. External liquidity sweeps are the sweeps that signal change in trend or give us reversal signal, while the internal liquidity sweep are the sweeps that signals continuation in a trend. Let's get started. Into understanding the entry models, you have to first understand how to identify a valid sweep. If you're unable to identify a valid sweep, even if you apply the entries I'll be showing to us, it will not be effective. All right. So you have to be able to identify a valid sweep. So, like I said in this video, we're going to focus on sweeps that are based on reversals. All right, sweeps that signal reversal of a trend. Okay, so you can see my illustration here. We have an uptrend and then we have a downtrend. Okay, I'm going to hop on the chart and I'm going to use my trade from last week on GPUSD to properly break down all of this to us. Okay, so this is uptrend and then this is a downtrend. All right, so we know that as smart money concept traders, our focal point is always what? The swing points and the swing point and the swing point, right? So if you can see that we have an uptrend here, the last swing point is high. We have price breaking through this guy, creating a higher high, right? And then price came back down, and I've done all the blah blah blah. That those are not the things we are focused on. We are focused on what the swing for now. Okay. So let's just say price have mitigated all it's supposed to mitigate. For those of us that trade smart money concept, price have done all it's supposed to do, right? And price is currently trying to interact with the swing point, and interaction with the swing point tells us if price is going to what? Either sweep or is going to break above. So the sweep, how to identify a sweep is you have to make sure that the first candle that come in contact with this guy closes not above, all right, closes inside or under the swing high instead of closing above the swing high. All right, the candle should interact with the swing high, go above it, and come back to close inside the swing high, just like this one. So if the candle is like so, then it's confirmed to be a sweep. It needs to be only the wick of the candle that is outside or higher than the previous swing high. All right, now don't mind the color of the candle. This is just an illustration. Color of a sweep candle can be any color. All right, it can be your bullish candle, it can be your bearish candle, though most of the time it's kind of bearish because some of them opens very close, goes above, and then comes back to close below. All right, making it bearish. But it can also be a bullish candle. The whole scenario is what? The structure of the candle, not the color of the candle. Color of the candle doesn't matter. What matters is the momentum of the candle. All right, so for a proper sweep, price have to do something similar to this. Price have to go above, all right, the swing high, and then come back to close below it. Okay, now there are instances when you get when price go above like so, and then another let's say a bullish signal candle. For those of us that understand candlestick um patterns, let's say we get, okay, this is all right, let's say price close above like so, and then we get another bearish signal candle, let's say engulfing it. You understand? Remember when we started out, or those of us that understand candlestick patterns, once you see an engulfing pattern as a swing level like so, 90% of people will jump into sales because it's a bearish engulfing candle. So even if you get an engulfing candle like this, in as much as this candle have closed above it, it means we have had a break of structure, and this is not a liquidity sweep. Price is going to continue buying. Even if you have a significant pullback, it's just going to pull back and repeat the structure. Pull back, mitigate point of interest, and continue. All right. So the focal point is the first candle that comes in contact with the swing high. If it doesn't sweep, then it is not confirmed to be a sweep. If it doesn't close below it, it is not confirmed to be a sweep. Now, there's another scenario in which you get the first candle closing below the swing high, right? And then signaling a sweep. Then you get series of other candles. This one, let's say this is the second candle that opens right after the sweep candle, right? You get another candle opening like so. Let's say this is the body of the candle, right? So you get another candle right after the sweep candle, and that candle, the close or the highest level of that candle is above the swing high. In as much as the highest level of that candle is not higher than the highest level of this candle, it is still a sweep. All right. And there's also scenario in which you get a sweep candle, you get another candle after it, and the candle after it, the highest level it has, or the only part of the candle that is higher than the sweep candle, is also what, a wick. If it's like so, it is still a confirmed sweep. All right. So flip of the coin is the same for the downtrend. If you have price approaching, you need to have something like this for it to be, a valid sweep. All right. For it to be a valid sweep, price have to come below it, below the swing low, which is what we have defined. Price have to come to grab the liquidity, the stop losses of, other traders who have put it right below here. All right. Price have to come through it, go back above and close above the swing low. Once it closes above the swing low, we have a confirmed sweep. And just like I said in the other side, just for the bullish side, you might have a next candle, the next candle after the sweep candle. In as much as it doesn't close with a full body above the sweep, above the lowest wick of the sweep candle, it is still a sweep. So if it closes like so, then it has become a break of structure, right? But then if it closes slightly below the sweep, the lowest wick of the sweep candle, it is still a sweep. If it only had a wick outside of it, it is still a sweep. The only thing that will invalidate the sweep is when the candle body itself is above the lowest level of the wick of the sweep candle. I hope that makes sense. So let's go on our chart. Let's look at GPUSD to quickly illustrate all of this for us to see. All right, people. So this is GPUSD, and price is what, floating down. We're in a downtrend. All right. So since we're in the downtrend, we have to pay attention to what, the swing point, right? So price broke to the swing low to the downside, creating lower low, a downtrend. Price broke this one, a downtrend as well. So we have to focus on what price have done here, all right, to around here to this previous swing point. So if price meet the criteria that I just showed to us about verifying if it is a valid swing point, if it's a valid sweep, then we are going to now dive into what, the entries. Okay. So if you zoom in very well, because that is what identifying the lowest level, right? So if you zoom in very well, you can see that price actually met the criteria for the sweep. So this is a valid sweep. All right. So since this is a valid sweep, how do we approach the entry? So we approach the entry by paying attention to the internal structure that came to collect the liquidity, or that came to sweep. All right. So you know that when we have a trend like so, within the trend we have internal structures. All right. And for those of us that are following the channel, we know that for a structure to be valid, or for a swing point to be valid, it needs to collect a valid pullback. All right. So if you pay attention to this little structure that came, the internal structure that came to collect, that sponsored the downtrend, that came to collect the swing low, right? Pay attention to this internal structure, we are going to be able to identify the last valid significant swing lower high. When the lower high is broken significantly above, when price pulls back to an order flow, or whatever type of point of interest that you always focus on. For me, I like to focus on an order flow. When price pull back to an order flow, that is when we execute our trade. All right. So just like I've marked out, if you look at this particular swing point, this internal structure here, the last valid significant swing lower high is this one. Why? Because it collected this internal pullback. All right. For those of us that don't really understand internal pullbacks or internal structures, please leave your comment below and let me know if I am to make a video to illustrate more. All right. So price collected this pullback, making this swing low a valid swing low, right? And then for price to break through the valid swing internal low, it means that this swing um high has become a valid swing lower high, right? And since we swept, like I said earlier, when we sweep a significant low, it means what? price is giving us a signal for a reversal. We're in a downtrend, we are sweeping low, so the reversal signal here is to reverse to the upside, right? So the moment price breaks through the last significant swing lower high and create a higher one, it means what? These little downtrend have changed to an uptrend. So when price came to close above this lower high, creating a higher high, higher than the previous high, right? It means that what we now have an uptrend. All right, price have created a higher. This now a high. Price have created a high higher than the previous high. So it means that this downtrend have changed to an uptrend. So all we have to do is to look for our point of interest here. That is going to be the level for what? A higher low. Then we can initiate price or initiate our trade from there. All right. So as smart money concept traders, point of interest is differ. All right, there are a lot of point of interest, and as a trader, you have to focus on the one you are actually using. So there are other blocks, there are other flows, there are fair value gaps, and there are breaker blocks and all of that. So if you don't understand point of interest and you think I should make a video about it, please don't forget to leave the request in the comment below. All right. So for me, just like you all know, I like to focus on the order flow, and order flow is what? The momentum and the pullback on an impulse. So this from here to here is what our impulse, right? And if I'm to spot out order flow, so from here to here is a pullback, right? From there to there is another pullback, and before all of that, and before where price is currently. Okay, so the last significant pullback that is yet to be mitigated is the valid order flow for me, and this is here, right? That is why I put my order there. So all I have to do is to put my you know execution limit over there, and then put my stop losses right below my order flow. But for safety, you can put your stop losses at the lowest grab, or like the lowest level of the liquidity sweep, and then you can target whatever ratio you target. Okay, for me, I like to target 1:3, by the way. So 1:3. This was a trade I took on Monday, I think last 2 Monday or so. Took this trade. So 1:3, right? Let's leave it there. So let's play it, and then let's see how it went down. So you can see what price did, right? One thing you have to know is about trading is about patience. So after executing your trade, you have to wait for price to do what it knows how to do best. You have to always train your mind to be able to see through the pullbacks, the drawdowns, and all of that, and wait. Make sure you follow your plan since you already know what you are doing. And for this trading entry type, make sure you practice it very well before you put it into your trading. Okay, so you can see that price hit our take profit. All right, so let's look for a final illustration. I think I had something similar on the same GPUSD. That was like the opposite side of the whole stuff. So let's look at another illustration. Okay, all right, so here you can see that we're in an uptrend, right? Price was below like so, right? Price was below like that, and then price broke above this level, creating a what? A break of soil to the upside. So what we're basically looking for, we're supposed to be looking for what? Price will pull back, mitigate something, maybe order flow like this one, so that we can continue the trend. But then if I play this a little bit, you can see that price did what? Price went to interact with us significant swing high, and the interaction is that price what is giving us this sweep vibe. All right, so price swept our significant swing high, right? Price swept our significant swing high, coming below it like so. Since price swept our significant swing high, what we have to do now is to wait for price to change this little uptrend that came to collect our significant swing high, this level. This is the last significant swing higher low, like before price collected this guy. So once price breaks through this one, all right, then we can start looking for the entry, just like I just illustrated to us. All right, so all we have to do is to play price to see how to deal with it. So price came, swept it, and then boom, we have a break. All right, so you can see initially what price did here was a sweep. Okay, price swept here. Since we have a sweep here and we're having a sweep here, this is kind of like a trap, because of course, market have to be manipulated for money to be made. People have to lose money for money to be made by others, all right? So we have a sweep here, we now have a sweep here. A lot of people will be looking to, okay, maybe we can start looking for buys, but then the range is too small for us to look for buys. We still have to stick to what we are looking for. The only thing that will make this sweep, sound interesting to me is when there was a significant break here, making this an inducement. But that is something I'm going to cover in the next video. Okay. So since we have a sweep here, this is just manipulation for those people who are still new to this. That's why I say make sure you practice this before you actually put it into your trading. So now we have a change of structure, right? We have a change of structure to downside after the sweep. We now have a change of structure. The change of structure is not by the week. It is we're having the whole of this as a structure. All right. So since we have a change of structure, the next thing we have to do is what? Look for our point of interest and then execute price directly. All right. So this is what an order flow is, a pullback. All right. So this is where I would enter my trade, place my sell order right there. Price already mitigated, right? So you can decide to put your stop loss at the top here, and you can decide to put it for safety. For safety, you can put it at the top, the highest level of the sweep. Okay. For me, I think I'm going to leave it at the high here. Let's play price and see how it went. So my target is always 1:3. Once you get to 1:3, I always like to take my profit. I think it's already 1:3 from to target profit. Okay, it's not yet. So trading is not really difficult. You just have to make sure that you check all the boxes, you know what you are doing and all of that. All right, I think that is okay. Price went well. So guys, this is how you take your entries once you are able to spot liquidity sweeps. I hope these have been helpful. Please don't forget to leave the like, share it to those of your friends that you know that are looking for stuff like this. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thanks for watching and stay highest.